It's time for Inside the L, the podcast covering all things LaSalle athletics and taking you behind the scenes.
Hello, Explorers fans, and welcome to a brand new season of the Inside the L podcast. I'm your host, Greg Caserta, and it's a pleasure to meet so many of you as we count down to opening day of both men's and women's basketball seasons, tipping off with a doubleheader on Tuesday. And for our first episode here, as we get into the month of November, LaSalle women's basketball associate head coach Chris Day joins me. And like we just joked about before we started here, coming to us live from Tom Gola Arena. You're in your comfort zone. You're in your happy place. And here we are, big guy. We're almost a few days away.
Yes, indeed. It's been a good 2 months of getting prepped up for the opener. Had our 2 scrimmages, which were a little up and down. But I think the bottom line is our kids are ready to get rolling on Tuesday against Coppin.
So when you look at those scrimmages, are there things that you can really evaluate and take away, or is it more the details that you guys are putting in practice?
Oh, definitely both. Oh, no question about it. Certainly we can take away, when you do scrimmages, you want to see what kind of tempo are we at? We want to run up and down the floor. So I thought that was decent for sure.
LaSalle women's basketball associate head coach Chris Day, our guest here on Inside the L. And because of that, a young team, an extremely young team. And now we're getting back into a pretty normal season compared to what you just described. Do you notice a different buzz and energy around this group because of that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no question. We got some changes in certain positions, which is giving some buzz. It's obviously at the point guard position because everyone knows our 2 point guards graduated last year. So there's definitely some excitement there to see these 2 new kids take the reins and try to lead us through. So that's a lot of fun. And then just seeing if, our 2 top scorers like Claire Jacobs and Kayla Sproul can come back even better and do some things. So it is a fun buzz to be a part of and feel the excitement to get started.
So it's a 14-team Atlantic 10, which we can always make jokes about. The numbers never really seem to sync up.
Never.
But in terms of the preseason polls, Chris, you go from number 10 last year to number 8 this year. I know that coaches do a much better job of blocking that sort of thing out. Do you think that the players look at things like that?
No way.
Okay, good.
No chance. No chance. I shouldn't say no chance, but I'm going to answer is no, our kids block that out. They're not really, we discussed it just on the growth of our program. First year we were picked last, and then we were picked, 12th, and then previous year 10th, and here's year 4 being picked 8th. So it goes just to show that we are making some strides and that other coaches in the league are seeing that. And we're thankful for that and grateful for that, but we still got a ton of work to do.
So I was looking at your 2 A-10 tournament games from last season. You beat Duquesne after they won here inside of Gola Arena. Then you see number 1 Dayton play them much tougher after they beat you guys by nearly 30 in the regular season.
Yeah.
So what did that say about the resolve of this group, especially down the stretch when fatigue is settling in and you're getting into these pressure type situations?
Yeah. I felt like in the Dayton game, because we lost pretty bad here in Gola to them, and they're really talented. I mean, really talented. I liked our kids' approach just to say, let it fly, just let it go. And I think if we have that approach even now, going into Coppin, like it doesn't need to be Dayton or it doesn't need to be Villanova. If we can just keep that mentality to just let it fly, because to be honest, Greg, that's what we teach. We do. We just teach let it fly, shoot the ball, be loose, have fun, but be gritty on defense. If we can do those things, then we can maybe finish higher than 8th. Who knows in our league?
Since we're doing a 2-pronged basketball attack, basically a primer for the doubleheader on Tuesday, the men's team, their entire focus this offseason was defense. It was almost like a full overhaul. Not that your program would go into something like that, but was there one particular area that you focused on that you realized you needed to clean up?
Rebounding, rebounding, rebounding. Should I keep saying that again? Rebounding, rebound. A couple years ago, we lost 6-3 and 6-4, right? Shalina, Miller, and Sophie. And so we didn't replace them. And so we were, if I'm not mistaken, next to last, if not last, in rebounding. And so, yeah, we rebounded every Coach Mountain wanted us as assistants when we did individual workouts in the summer. And whenever we can do that, every drill had to start with a rebounding, whether it's boxing out with the pad, what have you, anything like that. And so to answer your question, rebounding and no other thing else.
Is that something that, for me, as an outsider, somebody that didn't play beyond, let's say, 7th, 8th grade,
Right.
that almost sounds tedious. Now, do players feel that way early on? Is that something that they have to buy into because that's very detail oriented?
Yeah, but you know why more so? Not so much because it's detail oriented, because it's effort based. It really is effort based, and it's tiring. So like let's just say for us, we're in a 5-out offense, right? Which means you don't have anyone in the paint. So even to offensive rebound, right? You got to run from now. What's our 3-point line? 22 feet 1, something like that, or 21, 11, something like that. Now you got to run in. And then if you don't get the rebound, you got to run back and defensive rebound, get a stop. And it is effort, because we just can't rely on, well, they're bigger than us. No, you got to have the heart and the mindset, to go in there and get dirty and box. So we're trying our best to do that. We're seeing some results for sure, especially against our practice guys, because we got a good practice guy squad, and we have 6'4" and 6'5" and 6'3" on our practice guys team. So we're getting some work in to get better.
LaSalle Women's Basketball Associate Head Coach Chris Day, kind enough to spend a few minutes with us on Inside the L. He is coming to us from inside of Tom Gola Arena. And I'm curious for you personally, since you've been with several programs in this city, what is it about basketball in Philadelphia that's so unique?
Well, as you know, college, we don't have a big college football setup in Philadelphia, right? I mean, despite what school you go to, Temple's our FBS program in the city. And so I always wish them well. I'm a big college football junkie. Villanova was 1AA. I'm still old school with 1AA.
Yeah, of course.
So without the football, right, the college basketball shines, outside of the Sixers as a pro team. And so that's pretty cool to be a part of, particularly with the Big Five. Well, we're the only city in America that has 6 Division I schools and a 7-mile radius. And so it's real and exciting, and not just for the coaches, but for the players who playing against kids that they, maybe played against AAU or high school locally and whatnot. So I think that's the big thing for us, because we don't have a big college football scene. So college basketball really stands out here.
So you and your wife, Megan, I just want to make sure you have 5 children, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I feel it. I felt it. Believe me, I felt it.
Yeah.
As a college football junkie, do you get a chance to plop yourself down on the couch and watch a full slate of games, or is there a lot of moving around in the day house on a Saturday?
A little bit of both, because my youngest son, who's 7, Bryce, he plays youth football. So I live in Downingtown. Mm-hmm. So Downingtown is a football power town. The same youth football program my oldest son, who's at Valparaiso now, played for. And so we have his games. But outside of that, or around that, because on Saturdays, we were lucky enough, really, if we weren't recruiting, that was one of our day offs for practices. So how great is that? So we were able to get a lot of football Saturday games in. So, which is fun. And my daughter cheers at a school in our conference. I'll just say it. She cheers at Richmond. And so I'm actually going this weekend down there to see her, because this will be the last time to see her in a while, because our season starts. And so, we'll follow them. And so we'll get our football fix on for sure on Saturdays.
So because this is the first time that you and I are talking, and I hope that we can do this again at some point throughout the season.
Sure.
So I don't want to burn through all my great questions now. I'm going to save them for down the road.
Okay.
And as a communications guy, I know you understand this.
Yeah.
But first time we've ever talked formally, you're a football guy. You also ran track at Westchester. So where did the basketball passion come from? Because now it's your career.
Well, you said it first. It's Philly. People don't understand.
It's in the DNA, right?
Oh, it is. We would play so much pickup basketball at a local middle school called Bieber Middle School, actually where the Fresh Prince went for a year or two, because he's from West Philly, just like the song. We were with jeans on, so it didn't matter. Like, we just played ball. But particulars are, went out for the freshman team after freshman football. We only had one tryout, and I'm only 5'9". Did I have the best tryout? Probably not. So I got cut. And same with Coach Mountain, our head coach here. Him and I went to high school together. We went to Carroll together. And so I thought it was a little unfair, but whatever, it's fine. And so my brother was a manager for the girls team at Carroll. He's 4 years older than me. He got Coach Mountain, to be a manager. And so when I was available, why don't you be a manager? So we were around it, not just being a manager, doing the book and what have stats, whatever. We were in coaches' meetings at a young age.
You're immersed in it. You're
super immersed in it. We were around it, and we were so invested, Craig Mountain. We were so invested. We went, scouting with the coaches. I mean, like live scouting, going to other high school games. We did it all. We did play-by-play. To give them some entertainment, like you name it, we did it. And so it was just a passion. And so for me, it was going to be when we started having kids, what can get me in Division I first? College football, when I was a Division III college football offensive coordinator with Bill Zwine at Widener, or when I was the head women's basketball coach too at Widener. And then it just happened to be basketball to get me to Division I. So that's the story.
Thank you for going down memory lane with that. Yeah. If you could uncover some of your play-by-play, I'd love to critique it at some point.
Oh, gosh. I wonder if we do have some. I tell you what, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
And I'm sure back then we were still going on tapes and reel-to-reels and things like that. So
maybe not the reel-to-reels, but we had the big microphone to hold.
There you go.
The camera.
Listen, Chris, I could talk to you forever, but like I said, we're going to do this again. So thank you for spending a few minutes, and go get them against Coppin State on Tuesday.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
That's Chris Day, Associate Women's Basketball Coach at LaSalle, and we will have him again on the Inside the L podcast. More coming up right after this. Continuing along with the newest episode of the Inside the L podcast, it's great to welcome LaSalle Men's Basketball Associate Head Coach Kyle Griffin to the program as we continue along and count down to opening day on Tuesday. And first of all, Kyle, it's great to see you. Great to meet you. I appreciate you taking a few minutes. Let's get right to it. How was it to be back in the arena last night for the blue and gold scrimmage?
I think the guys really enjoyed it. We broke up the teams and there weren't very many subs for everybody. So guys got a little bit tired as we went along with it. But I think it was great for guys to see fans back in the arena. Just thinking back to last year, it was something that they didn't get to experience. And for a lot of these guys, it gives them energy, it gives them momentum, and it'll be great to have back in Tom Gola Arena this year.
Does it give you energy and momentum? I know we focus on the players, but you're also there doing your job. And I know that last year, not having fans, not having that energy in the building, I'm sure it affected everybody, not just the players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fans are so important. And when we can really pack it upstairs, when we can fill the arena up, it brings a whole different life to our team, to our entire program, staff and everybody. So, having fans back with us this year, creating some excitement. Those guys are invaluable to us.
I'm going to read you a quote. I want you to see if you can tell me which of your players said this. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, quote, "This summer was a struggle going through defensive drills every day because every day we complained and said, can we play offense? Can we play offense? But no, it was 2 hours straight of defense consistently. Which Explorers said that?
Andreas Marrero.
Okay, so I'll give you one more guess, but it is not Andreas.
One of our offensive guys. Christian Ray.
It was Jack Clark who said that. That was according to the Atlantic 10 men's basketball press release that came out. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious about your thoughts because based on what he said, how long did it take for the team to buy into that? Like, okay, guys, defense is the focus here, especially for some of the first-year guys and the transfers.
I mean, I think it was a transition. We needed to get back to our core values, to our identity this summer, and that starts with defending and rebounding, and playing hard and playing together. And so this summer was very much about getting back to those core values. And because of the lack of ability to prepare the way that we had in previous years last season, it put us a little bit at a disadvantage, where we weren't able to get all of our defensive concepts in and create that type of identity for our team. And so we were just trying to get as much in as we could leading up to the first game, but it turned out we weren't very good at any of it. And now I think we're at a point where we're pretty strong defensively, and our offense is going to continue to catch up to that, and we'll continue to get better as we go through the season. But going back to our beliefs and our core values, I think we're in a pretty good place.
So, Kyle, based on that, is the idea we're going to also generate offense off of that defensive system and that structure? Because obviously it's a focal point for you guys. I know that you're trying to catch up with the offense and things like that, but do they go hand in hand sometimes?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's something that we've been fairly strong at in past seasons, being able to generate points from our defense, creating turnovers, and getting out in transition. The other thing I'll say is that a lot of times when you focus on offense, your defense isn't very strong in practice, and you kind of get a false sense of where you're at offensively, and you're still not good defensively. And so the other area that we kind of wanted to focus on was our defense, so that we knew, okay, our offense might not be there yet, but at least we know we're going up against a pretty strong defense. And going up against that type of defense every single day will only help us get better.
Kyle Griffin, LaSalle men's basketball associate head coach, kind enough to spend a few minutes as we count down to opening tip on Tuesday against Sacred Heart. Kyle, for you personally, did the offseason go by quickly or slowly? Because I feel like last season just ended.
I would say probably slowly, because we had so much more time this offseason compared to COVID. So we had a lot more time to be able to prepare to coming into the season. So it felt like, okay, we have more days. What do we want to work on? What do we want to keep addressing, getting better at? And we were able to do that. I think we, as a staff, did a pretty good job of just staying focused, staying organized, and creating good practice plans for our guys to continue to get better every single day. And I think that our guys are very bought in. I think we're in a pretty good place mentally as a team. And obviously we won't be at our best on November 9th, but we'll be on our way. And I think guys are excited to learn, excited to continue to get better, and we'll keep pushing forward.
So starting with November 9th, it's 5 games in 19 days. And this game's challenging enough for you as a staff, for the players. Is it easy to get caught up in, okay, the final game of that 19-day stretch is against Villanova at the Palestra, and then you lead right into Temple to kick off December? Is it tough to get caught up and maybe look ahead and jump ahead on the schedule sometimes?
I think we just have to be very disciplined and take it one day at a time. And the more we do that, the more we allow our players to do that. So for our staff, we really are only focused on one game at a time, going through each scout preparation and focused on our current opponent. Coach Ash always says that our most important game is our next game, and that's something that we live by here.
I've been around the A-10 since my college days at Fordham, so I've seen the conference over the last, I'm giving away my age here, but 15 years. Do you think that outsiders grasp how challenging it is to compete in the A-10 year in and year out?
I don't really know. I think the one thing that's incredibly challenging about the A-10 is that there's 14 teams. There's a lot of really strong teams, and even though it's a multi-bid league where we're getting multiple teams in the NCAA tournament each year, it's very challenging to be one of those top 4 teams. So you really have to, and like I just said, you really got to focus on your next opponent and not worry about stuff in the future. And you got to be very disciplined and ready to compete at a high level day in, day out.
So what's the weekend looking like for you before tip-off on Tuesday? Is it film study and prep dusk till dawn, or do you get a chance to relax for a couple of moments?
Yeah, we're ready to go here, I think. And so everything is like full speed ahead. I'm not even, there's no weekend plans in my in my personal life here. Everything is very focused on making sure we're as prepared as possible for our opener against Sacred Heart.
Since I call men's basketball games at LIU in the Northeast Conference, I saw you on Andy Toole's staff at Robert Morris, and he's a guy that I've always admired as a coach. I've always thought he's done a really good job, and especially taking them out of the NEC into the Horizon League. Can you think back to those days and something that stands out from what you learned from him or what you took from your time there at Robert Morris?
Yeah, I mean, he's an unbelievable coach. Really, really, really good coach. Preaching defense, preaching toughness. I think those are probably the main two things. And then just taking from him how organized he was and how much of a competitor he was on a daily basis. But he's a mentor of mine. There's no question about it. I still keep in touch with him very often, and he's been incredibly helpful in my career.
The back and forth, when you have a relationship like that starts professionally, when you guys do talk to each other, is it X's and O's? Is it work, or is it personal, family life, and things off the court and outside the gym?
It's both. It's definitely both. I think as we get into the season, it's very much like, he knows how I am. I know how he is. We're both very passionate and intense personalities, and both very into our work. And so right this time of year, it's all about basketball. But Coach Toole was able. He came to I got married this summer. He was at my wedding.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we stay as close as we possibly can.
So I am talking with Kyle Griffin, the associate head coach of LaSalle men's basketball, as we get closer to the end of the first episode of Inside the Yell, a brand new season here. And, I guess every year, doesn't matter the team, the sport, the level, pro, college, we always hear about what is it going to take to get to that next level where we want to be. Have you been able to pinpoint that with the Explorers this year, or are we kind of forming that picture in 2021?
Yeah, I think we're still fairly, even though we have some older guys, we're still fairly inexperienced as college basketball players overall on our team. And so our biggest thing has been leadership, and has been our maturity as a group, just to be able to continue to lead each other and hold each other accountable to the details every single day, without losing focus on those things, and without becoming undisciplined to those things. And so I think those are the most important things. And our guys have tried to grasp that as best as they can right now. And like I said, I think these guys are very bought in right now and trying to do the absolute best they can to continue to get better every single day.
Kyle, we are just a few days away from a very long season, so I hope you'll join us again, and we'll continue and hopefully get kind of a mid-season report on where everything stands with the basketball team. Since we've been talking about business, and I know you got a lot on your plate and you're thinking about opening day, one more question for you. It's going to be very light, very low key. As a Pennsylvania guy, you've got ties to the city as a coach, as a player. The ideal cheesesteak for you, where do you get it from? How do you order it?
Yeah, I'm going to D'Alessandro's. I haven't been able to get there. I'm trying to during the season. My workouts are fewer and far between, further between. But so I try to stay away from them during the season. But yeah, I'm going to D'Alessandro's. That's my spot.
And how you ordering it?
Honestly, very simple. Provolone without. And just some hot peppers and ketchup.
Well, listen, I hope one of these days you allow yourself to have a cheat day, and hopefully it'll be after a win. You can reward yourself a little bit.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate it, Craig.
Kyle Griffin, a pleasure. Best of luck on Tuesday. I will be going to the game, so looking forward to meeting you in person. And again, we got a long season coming up. We're looking forward to it, and can't wait to have you back on here on Inside the L.
Awesome. Thank you, Greg.
That does it for us on our first episode as we kick off a new season here on Inside the L. Make sure you keep following along, and we'll have an episode for you every other week. And we look forward to having both Kyle and Chris back on. Until next time, I'm Greg Caserta saying so long. It's been a privilege, and we'll talk to you next time on the Inside the L podcast.